Hey guys, George here, and today what I'm going to bring to you is a little video about my initial thoughts of a scenario I'm playtesting for Don Petros called Hangers On. I'm not going to show you the PDF. Here it is. You got the scenario right here, practically. But there's a couple of elements and forethought that needs to be um, done before playing the game, and I'll bring them to you in just a second. I was saying some forethought needs to um, go into how to play this, both as the German and as the defenders. Well, defenders being the Germans and as the attacker being the Canadians. And in that respect, what we're looking at, if we zoom in on the map, I zoom in on the map? Yes, I can. It's just my computer's acting up again. All right, let's take a look at the OB. Well, the flail tank is of paramount importance, and you'll find the special attributes of that tank um, in Chapter B, as in Bravo, actually, as opposed to Chapter D, as in Dog, or Vehicle Notes 20. So if you look at the flail tank, we're looking at uh, 28, Bravo 28.7, flail tanks. So in that particular case, and 28.71, 28.72. So these folks are good at mine clearing, um, and I imagine that they also are good at clearing obstacles. Let's see, a flail tank US vehicle note 20, British vehicle 24 and 26 may engage in mine clearance by specifying at the start of the movement phase that he will do so by expending an entire printed MP allotment, other than the MP starting changing VCA to enter a hex. And does it also have anything to do with possibly clearing? Um, to do further research. I'm pretty sure it could. I'll take a look at it. The other element that you need to know about is the element in chapter E, a barrage. So a barrage is specific to having a pre-registered hex and an off-board observer. It's a an artillery barrage of 1 hex wide and 9 hexes long, parallel to the observer's um, off-board observation hex, and that is particularly useful in laying down a smoke barrage to allow your units to advance. We'll see if we can do that. But before going there, as you can see, I'm paying a little bit of a special tribute uh, to the 10th Armored Regiment for Gary Horse, which is the armor element of the attacking units. And all the losers, the usual 12th stiff fight, but then realized the war was over soon enough. Okay, so now we got to think of how to set up these babies here. And notice that I changed the AT gun to an AA, 88L, um, 88L AA gun. I also inadvertently in my previous video put the 548s as assault engineers with an assault with a smoke exponent of 4 instead of 2. Drinking tea, guys. Uh, Earl Grey. Please. Yes, I did change my tea and made might go back to red rose or something else. So yeah, I changed that, and there were a couple of other some comments from the scenario designer. Let's see. There we go. Finders keepers. Don wrote, "Funny how Google works." He wrote a couple of interesting things. Having a little bit of difficulty getting it. Okay, here it is. Hi George, watching your AR finding keepers on YouTube. Very nice. I mentioned in Facebook a few things. Flames don't spread and rubble doesn't fall per SSR4. Now, when I read that SSR4, I believe that flames would not spread only at the initial setup, and rubble wouldn't fall in the initial setup, although I never had situations where there was rubble fall. I don't have a problem with playing without falling rubble, but flaming, having flames from the get-go and not having them spread, eh, then you got to ask yourself, okay, well then, what's the point of rolling for weather conditions, right? You roll for wind change, you get gusts, and then with gusts, those flames spread. And you're saying they won't. Well, you could have a gust. It doesn't happen often. What would be the point of disallowing it for the entire course of the scenario? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Now, hexes B1 and C1 have been revised to woods. B1 and C1. B1, B1, and C1. These are wood. They're grain. Um, I can put an overlay there and make it into a wood, I suppose. Let's do that right away. And let's see if we can do that right away. Label, terrain, open ground, orchard. I'm not sure if I can find the right overlay. Orchard, nope, it's probably here. Big, no, not there either. Those are the deluxe. Okay, so here we got overlays and orchard again, runway, wall, woods. There we go. And let's put a couple of woods here. So there one is a wood, and this one is a wood. Okay, let's make Ron happy and me happy. All right, and I did revise this to an AA gun as opposed to an AT gun, and I revised my 548s to normals. See revised SSP and SSRs, which include narrative on debris and printed rubble. Okay, hope this helps. Let's take a look at the AR. Now, one thing that I noted was a little typo, so I'm going to put it down in my document so I can send it to him later. Hangers on, hangers, whoa, on, comments, and I used to type my own essay, so typo, second line, typo, ha ha ha, second line, um, any. Now it thinks I'm typing in French. Any, where should be anywhere, anywhere. That, and then let's revise this. Yeah, it's already revised. So I always have a little Word document and notepad notepad open so I can, is this French? No, let's put it back to English. Where I can uh, gracefully take note of what I wrote or what I found. Here it is. Okay, we'll minimize that. Um, yeah, okay, so let's take a look at the revised document. It's right here. So geoboards uh, 53 and Capri board uses the following standard rules. And this is now a little bit of a, uh, explained um, explanation of the terrain that is being used. Runway hexes, F4, G5, etc., are considered runways. Hangars on hex carpiquet are treated like wooden factories. Any paved road with a black dot is a city-wide board. Now here, rubble creation. Prior to setup, 3 rubble counters in hexes 1, 2, 3, 4. Prior to setup, 3 rubble counters in hexes if in play, and Capricorn boards hexes I3, J3, P6, T4. That's 4, and board 53, L6, P6, S5, and board G4 hex Z8. Okay, 4 to 1. Uh, let's say so here. It's not 3 rubble. Um, let's see, proofing. It's not 3 rubble counters. It is prior to setup, place rubble counters in hexes. Prior to setup, place rubble counters in hexes in the following in the following uh, boards if in play, and follow the procedure. I suppose, um, i.e., depending on the on the board, 4 to a single rubble counter may be fired. Okay, and then for each for each such random selection DR, resulting white DR6 causes an additional, let's move this out of the way, additional placement of a blaze counter in the rubble hex. Spreading fire and falling rubble are not applicable. Fortifications may not set up in rubbled hexes. Right, so here I think he wants to say, and I could be wrong, that spreading fire and falling rubble are not applicable throughout the scenario. Okay, or just at setup. Please specify. I mean, we got to be. Um, it only takes one word, you know. Spreading fire and falling rubble are not applicable. Period. Throughout the scenario, because to me, I'm just doing this as the initial uh, required to set up an initial placement of these counters, who harass at the throughout the scenario. They're not applicable at all. I mean, it's like, and if so, put on the scenario card and say, kindling, spreading fire, rubble, falling rubble are not applicable, and maybe people will get it, because usually when you put as on the scenario card, kindling is not applicable, they know the player knows that he can't start fires. Anyway, let's drink some more tea. By the way, there are four more cups available, and the storage space that I initially kept them in has fallen into a little shoebox now. Anyway, more on that later. Okay, so here are my initial thoughts. Let's go ahead and do the uh, the rubble creation. So for board uh, 53 is the biggest one, I think. Is it? No, no. Carpicat is the biggest one with possible um, four possible types of rubble. So let's go ahead and uh, figure the board so you can see the DRs. There you go. Now I'm going to put some rubble in the hexes. Oh, I don't know why I'm exasperated with this. No, it's like, ah, all right. Never mind me. I don't want to be a Karen slash Darren. Um, fortify, destroy. Yes, let's destroy things. That's what war is all about. Destroying things. So, a Carpiket, I3. I3 is, oh, it could be either one. So I3 is there, and have, let's put two of each there. Okay, and depending where it lands, we'll put one or the other. Okay, so then after I3 is J8. What happens if they land off board? Anywho, um, that so be it. If it lands off board, it's not there. Okay, then clone again, and then we'll put some in P6. Nice, P6 and then T4. Clone and then T4. Look, I'm not opposed to this, um, but uh, it does take some investment in time in order to set up the board correctly. The German player has to do this before setup. Ultimately, yeah, the German does. Okay. All right, now let's clone again. And we're going to put it now. Let's go to board 53, and here's L6. Awesome. Clone again. E6, Papa 6. There you go. And wherever it lands, it lands. And S5, Sierra 5, clone. This is interesting. All right, let's start from top to bottom, left to right. Okay, here, big DR, and if the white DR is a 6, initial blaze. All right, so do it. High five. So we're going to use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 methodology. So 5 would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we'll put wood and rubble there because the most adjacent is wood. Okay, now we can delete this one. 2d6, big DR, 3 and 1, 1, 2, 3, and vulnerable there. Not that it makes a difference. Well, it does, but if it falls close to a stone one, we'll use stone. If it falls close to a wooden one, it'll be sure. 2d6, 6, and 2. So a 6 would be here, and this building is just rubble. So this has to be done before the German sets up, but there's a couple of other catches here. The other catch is that OBA, Canadians have 105 OBA plentiful ammo, HE smoke, that sounds right, with OBO, off-board observer, located at level 2 anywhere along the Canadian entry hexes, with 2 pre-registered hexes identified after German setup. Germans have battalion mortar, plentiful HE only capability. Oh, with 3 pre-registered hexes identified prior to setup. Prior to British setup, I suppose. All right, prior to setup. Okay. Oh, okay. These guys have an OBO. Let me tell you, with no, I mean radio or a radio or a phone. But let me tell you, observing things around here is like, whoa, a bit here and there. Okay, prior to setup, the Germans may use HIP for 2 squad equivalents and any. So in this case, if you can deploy. If you can deploy 2 squads, deploy them, and that's the way it works. Uh, and any setup and any SMC support weapon stocked with them, as well as for 1 leader with a radio or phone. Player's choice. Again, as well as, does that mean plus? So 2 squad equivalents plus the leader with the phone being hip. Probably having a foggy brain fog day. Anyway, that said, let's move on. We got some more rebel creation here. Okay, 2d6, 6 and 2, 1, 2. Let's just put wooden rebel there. Here, 3 and 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With wooden rebel there. Got that guy down there. Here, 6, 6 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get rid of that. And the last one. Hoo-hara. Let's do it. Boink. 1 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a stone baby there. This time we didn't get any flames. So I guess Don will be happy. Alright, we did that. Now what else do we have to do? Prior to setup, we gotta designate 2 pre-registered hexes. I am going to mark it down on pencil and paper. You can do it as a delayed note. But I like G5, the German. And I also like G4. G5 and Carp, 4 and board 53. That's what I like. What happens? And we'll do our radio. We'll do our radio. Yeah. Okay. And then for for the off-board observer, and remember we don't have line of sight checks here. I don't think free line of sight checks. So for the Canadians, we got three pre-registered hexes. No, German have battalion mortar with three per. So the Germans have three per. Okay, so I'll add M7 and Carp as another pre-registered hex. Hopefully, I have a line of sight to that. If anybody knows this is a free line of sight check, let me know. So Canadians have two pre-registered hexes. So the Canucks, um, pre-registered hexes. If I'm going for the Gusto, I want G5, and my offboard observer will be on A5 Carp. A5 Carp. It will be G5, and November 6th on the same board. Smoke a rush. Maybe more than that. We'll see what happens. 105. Scenario card. Fancy me. So I lightly put some demarcation signs where the two victory locations can be possibly be. And again, I want to handicap myself somewhat. Guys, forgive me if this video seems to be a little bit um, heavily edited and a little bit choppy. I guess I was saying about demarcation lines, the little demarcation lines where um, the objectives are for the Canadians, so we don't forget. I took note with pencil and paper um, where my pre-register hexes are for the Canadians and the German. I was thinking of making a setup whereby I am buddy in a little fire group, and then subsequently to that, I do a form of random selection as to where everybody should be. Um, Keep it that at the end of the day, even if there's a random selection for the defenders, um, if I am playing the defenders in this case, and I don't want to do a random selection as to where the everything is going to be placed, um, what I can do is just build an excellent defense to the point where I'll have to struggle as a Canadian to attack the Germans and win the victory location. So with that said, and no further ado, let's see how many squads we have here. Multi-man counters. We have 8. I guess we can count the crew as well. That would make it 12. So that would mean we could deploy um, squads, but I guess with the SSRs, there is an SSR saying you can freely deploy up to half of your, um, yeah, here, 10. All German units are considered SS. 548s have their broken morale level increased by 1. SS and Canadian MMCs may freely deploy up to half fractions rounded down other squads. As much as I like that rule, it pains me to deploy that many um, squads, multi-man counters. Um, anyway, we got to look at the map and see overall, zoom out, see where we can cause some pain points. German defender. Keeping in mind where the um, what um, what exactly the Canadians have to gain here. And also keeping in mind that the orchards on the lower board are in fact what are they? They're shell holes. Ha! So now we got. Let's start with the railroads. Okay, we got roadblocks. We got two roadblocks. Two roadblocks. Sure. To say big hassle. Right. You wanna block this area here, um, or or block this hex from being an entry hex. Right. There's no way you can put a roadblock direction here. So basically, that's almost like a free giveaway. Um, so here's a better location to prevent a flank attack like that. Okay, and suppose here's another good location, forcing the Canadians to come in through the open ground, or they can go around. Keep in mind that ultimately the Canadians may not know where everything is, and then we got some fortifications. Um, And I think by SSR I can put fortifications on road hexes. Let's take a look at those SSRs one more time. Trenches, rubble, pillboxes are considered rally terrain. Trenches may connect to multi-hex buildings and to or hangars, ground level infantry units. Trenches, trenches in such locations using 2MF, trenches and 18 mines may set up and paved roads. But how about pillboxes? Pillboxes are not part of the SSR. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so uh, I'm gonna pick a radio as the German player, and I'm gonna pick my worst leader to be on the radio just because. And then this is a 1.5 uh, tall building, and of course I will deploy at least one of my squads. So here, half squad and clone, and pick another one. I hate to dilute a. And that's what I call deployment is dilution, because in close combat these guys only have three um, combat factors, four with the leader, resulting from what could otherwise be a 3-2 close combat attack to a 1-1 or a 1-2, depending on whether you're attacking with the leader or not. So here, yeah, I'll deploy one of these guys as well, half squad and clone. Again, SSR about that as well. So basically, all right, let's put a medium machine gun with a half squad. That's the best we can do in a steeple. And if the eventual ambush doesn't materialize, we can pivot. And let's put this one in level 2, higher. Okay, where's that dude? Okay, so we got this and this all on there, and they're going to be hit. So in the worst case scenario, the should be able to fire. Canadians should be able to fire at using the area target type. Okay. Now we have an opportunity also to use a mortar and put them in debris. What the heck? Okay, just like that. Okay. And since we have debris um, in a wall, think about that for a moment. I like this fellow there. Okay, here the other MG 5 and 5 is 8. 6 plus 5 is 11. Doesn't make much of a difference. Doesn't make much of a difference. Heck, we don't have a lot of odds here. Odds. Heavy. Heavy. 7 plus 5 is 12. A 12 attack. I like a 12 attack. There you go. 2 liter. Out in the open. Pretty spread pretty thin. How many of these guys do we have? 3 only. Oh well. But maybe we put them like that. I have to think that over. The other fellow here. Guessing I'm gonna really have to play this with Dino. My Monday night partner is he's more he's better than I in attacking. I have to reread the rules for pillboxes and how to set them up. We might have to get out of dodge one of these turns. Oh well. Let's put these guys here. We'll just put the cupola right there. Put a little fortified building location. We're going to put the fortified building location here, actually here, and there. And heck, we don't even have enough squads to counter. And then we'll put this here, actually not there, but close enough. We have a couple of AA guns. Great. He's in open ground without anything. Let's give him an LMG. He's a lonely half squad. He's a lonely half squad. He's a mortar. Got a 228. Yeah. But M7? Let's put this fellow there with this little baby. Maybe like that. This should face also this way. Very good. See what else we got on our radar. All right, we'll put another mortar up here. It would often be considered hip. Is considered a gun. We can place something like that. Oops. Okay. Tempted to put a Panzerschreck right out here in the open. Well, it's not in the open, it's in a shell hole. And he can fire on this X and this X. And then he can pursue everything. I definitely don't like this guy here. And to put him up here. And let him roll back if need be. Biggie, where's the Biggie gonna go? As much as putting the Biggie A gun there. Oops, put the 228 there, right there, facing that direction. 548, 228. Why do we have a spare 228? There's the spare 228. Yes. Something funny going on there. Okay, so we got the 228. We got a 238 with a mortar. We got a 348 there, so that's not good. 348 does not belong there. You could, but it would suffer penalties. There. Yes, the 228 should go in the cupola. Gotta check those out. Okay, and the 548 is there. Put a 548 here. Never know what's going to transpire. And a 348 up here. Hip, hip him. Why not? The guns. Him. There you go. Hip him, but they have to show up because they're not in concealment terrain, right? So they have to show up once everybody's on board or once they have line of sight. Guess this guy can be hip as well. Not too sure if a cupola needs a crew. Best thing to do is zoom in. And how come I can't just grab one? Grabs both. Okay, them as well. On Andrea. So it's just the way things work. Okay. Okay. The fortification building would be hip as well. Time to time my computer acts up. Now we got more fortifications to put in, um, namely trenches and uh, wire, three wire. Got a building there. Yes, there is. So with three wire, I always try to find locations that cannot be bypassed, but it's going to be a bit difficult to do so. Um, so that said, let's put to the best of our ability. Somewheres. We got carriers, but they're fully tracked. Let's also put a, in case they want to encircle us. Um, well, at the moment, let's take off all the moves and zoom out. This is what I'm looking at, and I want to put some trenches. Oops, not that. That's not a trench. I want to put some trenches in between multi-hex buildings, um, so they can allow the Germans to maneuver. Um, pivot. if need be. Keeping in mind that this might also allow um, the Canadians to do the same. Oh well. Now, guess what? I have two units, right? I got 2 units hit. All the guns are hit. Um, Units in a pillbox cannot be hit. Um, that's the way I understand. I could be wrong. Um, and gun should face. And by SSR, two squads can be equivalent. Up to two squad equivalents can be hit, um, making this a little bit um, basically the whole setup might be completely known to the attacker. So where it says two squad equivalents can be hit, I would say one squad equivalent plus um, a leader or SMC with radio and any unit stacked with this leader. So those are my initial thoughts, and they may change. 52 minutes. 52 minutes of blah, 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 blah. Oh well, now, setup. I find it a bit precarious to have so few units relative to what we have with 16. 16 to more or less 8 and a slew of guns that once they pop up, it happen. I don't know. Um, but this is the setup I'm going to go with. And I'm going to play the scenario throughout to the best of my ability using both sides. I'm not interested in hipping any more units because at the end of the day, they'll be known to me. Whatever hip units are hip, um, I guess I won't be able to fire on effectively without using area fire until they become known to the Canadian player. And that's how I play it. I'm going to save this as my initial setup for the Germans. I may have forgotten something, but look, this scenario is a bit top heavy with SSRs. Top heavy. I don't know what to say. I got to play it through a couple of times before I can um, get more feedback to Don and to you guys. But at the same token, I did find some initial hiccups that need to be ironed out, and we'll take it from there. Now, with respect to the cups, let me show you the squad leader cups that were. I got approval from the copyright owner of the graphics to produce 10. Um, Babies, this is a school sponsored or school sanctioned t shirt. I bought 5 regular t shirts, black, that's the school color, black and blue, and 2 gym shirts for $177. I sold 6 cups through the some yeah mostly through the eBay link, and they covered almost more than a little bit over half of that cost so far, according to the statement that I got from eBay. And like I said before, I am extremely grateful to Roger McGowan and the purchasers. I've gotten certain questions, namely, um, a Canadian buyer cannot buy from that eBay link that I shared. I don't know what to say. I've always been able to purchase before from eBay, the U.S., unless the owner of that product is not willing to ship to Canada. Number one. Number two, I do get a shipping discount or a postage discount from eBay if I use their shipping labels. And we also get a tracking number, which is, I think to me is very important. The tracking number is what costs more, and having shipped goods of that nature or that weight to other friends in the U.S. and across Canada, I know it's around $25 if you want um, a tracking number. And to me, I think a tracking number is imperative. You get insurance for your shipment. I only made one exception to that so far, and I'm pretty sure that it'll take approximately a month for that uh, parcel to arrive across the pond. Um, so what more can I say? And another person made the remark that it's $16, not 10. And the reason why it's $16 is because you have the buy it now option that um, that eBay asks you to opt for. I opted for it, and you cannot set that buy now at the same price as uh, the sale price of 10. It has to be above. They suggested 13. I put 16. And in terms of cost, even the box itself that it comes in is $5 from the Canada Post Canadian. The bubble wrap, um, none of that is free. The tape, um, you gotta factor those things in. And at the end of the day, guys, it's not that expenditure didn't go in my pocket. I already bought these T-shirts. So, and if you want to think of at the end of the day about the mug, don't buy it. Don't even bother. If you want to contribute to this fine gentleman's education, then I appreciate your patronage. It's as simple as that. Um, let me show you what things look like. Right, here's a picture of my son and I. Right, you see that? This is my son. They they went to the game, and guess what? I asked for your thoughts and prayers, and if you were not religious, for your meditation and kind thoughts. 23 to 15, and they could have done better. I found that the refereeing was a bit dubious, conspicuous, dubious. We always suffer the biggest amount of yard penalties compared to every other team, and we're used to it by now. We're used to it. We're so used to it, and since it's been that kind of thing has been going on since my generation, we don't even pay attention to it. And these kids outperformed themselves. They went all the way, LSA all the way. That's the way. That's the motto, and that's what you're contributing to, guys. It's my kids' school uniform. So if you want to buy it, greatly appreciate it. And if you don't, or if you see things irky, just stay away from it and put your money to another cause that you value more. That's all I can say. With that said, I took an hour to set this thing up, and I'm not happy with my setup. If you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below. Respectfully, I'm dying to find out how this thing works, and I might have to coax playing this one. You don't have a line of sight tool, big deal. Um, it is what it is, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, I hope you'll enjoy this video. I'm going to drop it right away today, Saturday, the 31st of August. I want to wish all the Canadians and everybody celebrating Labor Day on Monday a great Labor Day, rain or shine. Keep me in your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Take care.